right now. I can't. I'm about to walk my dogs. It's a beautiful day. I think I'll call us up.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Sajak.
And Matha White, Vanna White's cousin. Thank you for coming today to the show. Today we're going to learn about parallelograms. And who can remember what a parallelogram is? Right, a quadrilateral. How many sides does it have? 4, that's right, good. And what makes a parallelogram different than other quadrilaterals? 2 sets of parallel sides. What makes a parallelogram different from a rectangle? Rectangles have right angles and parallelograms don't have to. So hopefully you remember all of that stuff. So let's look and put a parallelogram on the board. All right, we have a parallelogram right here. And let's look at the angles of the parallelogram. Let's say this one is 40 degrees, and this one is 140 degrees. Who can tell me, what do you think this angle would be? Good, 40 degrees. These are called opposite angles. So write in your notes, opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal. So what will this angle be right here if we know that this is 140? Good, 140, because they're opposites. Now there's another rule. Who remembers what adjacent angles are? Adjacent angles are side by side, and adjacent angles are supplementary. And you can look, 40 and 140 adds up to 180. That's what supplementary means. Angles that add up to 180. So adjacent angles are supplementary. So let's look at something else. Let's see. Let's do one more parallelogram. All right, if this angle here is 20 degrees, what will this angle be? They're adjacent angles. It'll be 160. If this angle's 20, what will this angle be? 20, good, because they're opposite angles. So what's this angle right here going to be? 160, because they're opposite angles. Also, look, these two are adjacent, and they add up to 180. These two are adjacent, they add up to 180. And these two are adjacent, and they add up to 180. Now, one more thing. Let's learn about how to find the area of a parallelogram. Now, you remember with a rectangle, the formula for an area is length times width. But this isn't exactly a rectangle because it doesn't have right angles. And look what happens. If you have a parallelogram like this, and it's big and fat, and then you smush it down like that, what do you think is going to happen to the area? It's going to decrease, right? So you can't just do length times width with the parallelogram because the sides, when they change, angles will vary. So the length and the width will vary. So let's look at this one. So if we find out that the height of this is 5, and one side is 5.2, and the other side is 6, the area for this parallelogram would be 30. Which two numbers do you think I multiplied together to get to the area? The height, which was 5, and the base, which was 6. So the formula for area of a parallelogram, write this in your notes, of course, equals base times height. So base times height. So we went the base, which is the bottom, 6 times the height, which is 5. Okay, now pause the video and do the practice set problems, and then turn it on when you're finished, and we will have the answers. Let's look at the answer to E, since they're not up here. Who could tell me the answer to E? Is there a 0, you say? Yes, there is. A 0. What else? What other number? An 8. There happens to be one right here. The answer to E was 10 times 8 is 80 because that's the height. Who can tell me what the perimeter of E would be? Think about it. Across the opposite of that 12 is going to be a 12. So 12 and 8 is 20. So the other sides are going to be 20. So the perimeter is 40. Okay, let's look at E. What numbers do you think are going to be on our letter wheel? You think there's a 4? Yes, you're right. And there's a 6? Let me see. No 6 on the letter wheel. Is there a 0? Yes, there's a 0. Good job. Okay, what would be the perimeter of this? The base is 8, so 8 and 6 is 14, and the opposite sides will also be 14, so the perimeter will be 28. All right, any questions? Be sure and study this and make sure you understand it because your teacher will have a quiz on this tomorrow. And thanks for coming to the Wheel of Fortune Math with Math of White.